Worldwide, there are over 7.4 billion people, but according to Vice News, the poorest 80% of the world holds only 6% of the wealth. And even more striking than that is the fact that the 85 richest billionaires in the world hold as much wealth as the bottom half of the world combined. As you can see, this number is already very skewed, but the problem's actually getting worse, with 70% of people living in a country where the gap between rich and poor is actually increasing. Take America, for example. The average wealth of an American is between $250,000 and $300,000, but this is an average. If you take the median to exclude the Bill Gateses and the Warren Buffetts of the world, then that number gets dropped down to a measly $45,000. As with any debate, there are two sides on this topic. Some people believe this is a good thing, that the wealth is in a select few people's hands, but the majority of the people will say that this is a bad thing and could cause more corruption and issues than it can do good for the world. As this is an issue that revolves directly around money, when I was interviewing people, I tried to get someone from each level of income as to get a broader range of answers and to not get a representative from each level of income, if you will. The first person I interviewed was Miss Hayes, who is a chemistry teacher at Heritage High School. So for our first question, what percentage of the world's total wealth would you guess is held by the richest 20% of the world?
So the richest 20% of the world, I would say, almost all of it. Probably about 80 to 90%, I'm guessing.
Okay, it's 94% of the total wealth.
Yeah.
So you're pretty close. Now that you know the correct answer, what are your thoughts or feelings about how skewed that number is?
Well, I would assume that the United States holds the majority of the wealth.
Yeah.
So, and also we kind of have a skewed worldview. Like we actually don't realize it, but I think we are richer than the average person across the entire world. But so therefore, I think it is our duty to then help out other people in other countries. Mm-hmm. Not just other countries, but people in our own country. We need to help them out when we can.
Yeah.
So even though I personally...
All right, so let's get that.
Okay. So, if the top, 20% holds 94% of the wealth, I do think it's our responsibility to look out for the other 80% of the world.
Okay. All right. And then, would you side with the people that say this is a bad thing, or people that think this is good motivation for the people that don't have all the money to give them something to strive for?
I get that it's something to strive for. However,
unfortunately, my phone crashed towards the end of Miss Hayes' interview during her last response, but we didn't realize that until after the fact, so she gave me permission to just relay her answer to you guys. So pretty much the part that got cut out was that she brought up an old proverb, give a man a fish, he'll eat for a day. Teach a man to fish, he'll eat for a lifetime. And that's what she kind of thought we should do as the people with wealth in the United States. She thinks that we should help less fortunate people in countries to learn how to make their own wealth rather than just giving them money. And that's it. So that was it for Miss Hayes. And then for my next interview, I interviewed Wanda Precise, who is a middle-class business owner. All right. For our first question, what percentage of the world's total wealth would you guess is held by the richest 20%?
I would say around 90%.
All right, it's 94% of the world's total wealth. So
I'm impressed with myself.
Good job. All right, so now knowing the correct answer, what are your thoughts or feelings about how skewed that number is?
Crazy, insane.
Yeah.
It's over the top that the rich people in this world really control this world. Mm-hmm. That's how I feel. Yeah.
All right, so given that answer, I would assume that you would side with people that say it's a bad thing and not the people that just think it's good motivation for the lower people?
Yes, it is not good motivation for the lower people, because I'm one of those people, and I think it's wrong. I think that the rich people have too much control and the little people don't. Mm-hmm. So, I don't know.
All right. Yeah. And then for the last question, most people side with the bottom 8% like you did and say it's a bad thing. Do you think there's a fair way to even out the scales that would help get more of the wealth to the bottom 80% without being unfair to the people that have made it to the top 20% and earn their wealth?
Yeah, I mean, that's a hard one because I'm not at the top of the scale, but I know that the wealthy don't get taxed enough. They need to be taxed more. The poor people, not the poor people, but the lower end of
the bottom 80%.
Yeah, 80%. I mean, some of them are a lower scale where they can't get there because they're not motivated to go to school, to college, and make something of themselves. So that doesn't even count. But that middle class people, they need a better tax bracket, a better way of the government helping them out. So yeah.
All right. So I think that's all we got. So thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much, Ryan Gontram. Peace out.
So again, that was Wander Precise, a middle-class business owner that we just heard from.